No worries. And thanks for that. And I want to just pick up on that point, that notion of collaborative leadership. And I mean, in a sense, it's been rolled out, is leadership just a fad? Is it the word that's going to get used for a while, then dropped? We've heard resilience is there. There'll be a few others come along as well. I think what's so important in what I've been hearing from the panel so far is this idea of leadership as actually taking action in some way. I mean, we like to use the term leadership as a verb. It's something you do. Too often we're seeing it conflated with authority. So someone's in a position, particularly if they're in a senior position, and we think, oh, right, that's leadership. Well, that's got nothing to do with leadership. You can choose to exercise your leadership from that position of authority, but often the authorities are actually maintaining status quo, which can be an important role in providing stability. But we need to tease out that distinction, because if leadership is about challenging the status quo, is about ensuring that change can occur, we have to really see leadership as focusing on what type of problem is it that's being faced and engaging people around that. So when we use the term vision, there's a risk of people saying, oh, we've got a vision, even if we build it with others, and our role is just to get people to follow you. Well, in these sort of situations we're talking about, you haven't got a clue where you're going, and nor does anyone else. So the notion of getting people to follow you is pretty risky. And we know that many of the organisations in this sector are quite risk averse and have a tendency to fall back on technical solutions. So we like to make that distinction and tease out this distinction of technical problems, ones we can bring in experts, authorities and others. They can provide those answers, that's great. And on the alternative is these adaptive issues. These are ones that actually require shifts in culture and values, shifts within the communities themselves, where no expert can come in with a book and say, well, on page 63, here's what you can do. The best that can be done is to pose the questions. What's not worked? How did we get to here? What would progress even look like? And so distinguishing that means that our notion of a vision isn't here's where you should get to, but it's actually the starting point for leadership, where we say, our vision is this community has the capability to actually engage on those difficult issues. Rather than here's an answer, we lead more with questions. And I think that notion of trying to separate the authority function and saying those in charge know the answers from the leadership function, which is more about asking questions, which is very risky because people look to you to come up with an answer, becomes much more fruitful when we start to then come in as inquirers, as people who are curious and trying to build community and understand from communities on the ground what's possible, what's not possible, what's missing, and what needs to be built in order to make a stronger base.
Thank you very much.